Hey, it's Charlie from Up Close and Acoustic. I'll keep this very short. By the late 1980s, my college roommate Pete had turned me into a complete Pink Floyd head, to the point where I was obsessed and a completist, and I had to track down not only all of the albums, but I tracked down all their solo projects. I tracked down a lot of stuff. And I think one of my favorites, if not my favorite solo project, was Rick Wright's Wet Dream. I'll tell you why. I know that a lot of Floyd fans fall into one of two camps. That is either the David Gilmour camp or the Roger Waters camp. I mean, some you get if they go back far enough, they're in the Sid camp. But me, I think I fall into the Rick Wright camp more often than not. And I'll tell you, it's usually because of the melody line that carries through most of the songs. Roger Waters was the lyricist. David Gilmour is known for his guitar work, of course, and his vocal work. But bubbling along in the background is Rick Wright. And Rick Wright had the melody, I think, that glued everything together. Plus, he was the perfect counter voice to harmonize with Gilmour. That second voice you hear harmonizing with Gilmour isn't always David Gilmour on a second track. It's Rick Wright. I had Rick's album Wet Dream. I bought it in the 80s from a store that doesn't exist anymore. But for the longest time, I had it. And when I got rid of all my vinyl, that went with it. Turns out it's just been re-released and remixed by Steven Wilson. I've listened to the remix a bunch of times, and I defy anybody who calls themselves a Pink Floyd fan to listen to that album if you've never heard it before and not come away saying, that's Pink Floyd. Because the instrumentals could fit on any album, especially any album between Metal and The Wall. And the vocals, you can hear exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about Rick Wright's voice on Pink Floyd songs. Well, it's, of course, prominent because it's his solo album. You're going to listen to this album if you have never given it a chance before and say, yeah, there's an argument to be made that Rick Wright should be recognized more prominently in this band. I liked it back in the 80s when I owned it, and I'm going to own it again. I recommend that everybody who considers themselves a Floyd fan check out Rick Wright's Wet Dream if you haven't checked it out yet. And enjoy. You will enjoy it. And you'll probably walk away saying, that's Pink Floyd. And you'll be right. What? What about Tull? Have you forgotten about Tull? Yes, that is a very similar kink. Thanks. Love you all.